Hanging in there? Good.
Wonderful.
I'm good. I'm sorry for the delay. I was trying to sign on and I was on the line with Dane and Alex. They were trying to help me get connected. So the my computer would not connect. And like you all, I'm on Zoom all day, every day. So I don't know why, but I'm on the phone here, so that will work. So I'm the director of opera studies at Baldwin Wallace Conservatory of Music. Baldwin Wallace is an undergrad only voice performance program. A lot of great things happening there. We do 3 main stage productions a year. Those include off campus and on campus. We do a masterclass series every year. We do a grad school expo where we bring grad schools that you are interested. Typically, we focus on rising juniors and the schools where they want to go. All voice performance majors are cast in at least one opera production a year. All voice performance majors are involved in master classes. And just a quick highlight of that, we had Lawrence Brownlee, we had Jamie Barton, we had Preeti Gandhi, we had Matthew Ozawa, so Anna de Archuleta. So we just had a great lineup of people. And the great thing, because we're undergrad only, is you're not watching the graduate students take part in those opportunities. You're actually getting those for yourself. One of the other things we have is an 8-semester voice performance workshop sequence. So every semester you're enrolled, you're working on your performance technique. And we're going to dive into a little bit of that today. Sorry, if you see my hands reaching, I'm not used to being on my phone. I'm used to like my camera and all my monitors. So it won't be very stylish today, but the content will be there. But what we're going to do is dig in to a little bit of presenting your auditions. And sometimes things happen like today, on my end, where, no matter how professional the setup might be that I have, you always have your backup plan and always roll with it and always just keep a smile, stay friendly, because that's one of the number one things that I always am trying to impart to the students, is that so much of this business, so much of this career is about being a good human being and just being present for your other artists. So that's that. I'll be coming at it from the perspective not only of my position with Baldwin Wallace, but I'm also the executive artistic director for Cleveland Opera Theater. So I get our students involved in small roles and ensemble on main stage and some community engagement performances. I'm also the assistant artistic director for Hawaii Performing Arts Festival. So I'm always got an eye out for, different levels of students and different artists and young artists on their journey. So you can ask any questions you want at any point. Thank you for participating today. Once upon a time, 30 years ago, when I was your age, I did my undergrad at Oberlin Conservatory, did my doctoral work at Indiana University. So I understand the journey you're on. I started college as a dance major. So I come at performance from a wide background before I dedicated the last 15 years of my life to stage directing and producing. So I understand where you're coming from. I'm there with you. If things that I say work, use them. If they don't work, don't use them. That's part of the business as well. All right. So we are starting off with Leah. Is that correct? Hi, Leah. I think from my phone, I might be able to spotlight you. Let me see if I can do that. I don't know that I can. Normally I would spotlight you, but I don't know how to do that from here, and it doesn't seem to be working. And I don't want to waste time. So Leah, if I use the word slate, do you know what that means? If I say slate your piece?
Ah, yes. My name is
Oh,
Leah Yaknak, and I'll be singing Sposa son disprezzata by Vivaldi.
Very nice job. And next, that's your next selection, right? All right, so we've got 6 minutes. Okay, we will work fast, and this will be recorded. So I just want to say from the start, I will say way too many things, way too quickly, in the time that we have, so that you can go back and revisit. And also, this goes for everybody, the folks I'm working with, the folks watching. I am more than happy to meet with you and follow up again, so we can always get in touch and dig in more. Okay, so first things first, beautiful voice, very well prepared. Congratulations, good job. Always good to start there because your voice is you, it's personal, and so it can easily feel like we're always piling on, and sometimes we lose the joy. We lose that sense of artistry and exploration and just frankly fun that makes this something that we love to do. So I always like to start there. So what is something you would identify that you intended to do and you were successful in doing?
The melismas.
The melismas? What
Yeah.
about them? Vocally, rhythmically? Yes, both.
Keeping them clean and like flowing.
Excellent. Excellent job. So when you're a singing actress, when you're working on classical music, you have 3 things you're responsible for. How do you use your instrument? How do you craft your voice? How do you play your instrument for shorthand? How do you interpret the material? And then the third, how do you communicate that material? Bringing together the use of your voice, the use of your body, your mind, your communicative devices, gestures, actions, phrasing, all of that. So this is a very challenging aria in that it's very long. Okay, so we'll unpack a lot of details. First thing that I would say constructively, try to get your camera up a little higher. It was a little underneath, so all of the gestures are looking like they were underneath rather than being more head on. So we want sort of that 3/4 body shot. So get that a little higher if you can. Yeah, unobstructed if you have a place where that would be. So right now, that's okay. And now let's think about your storytelling. Who is this person? Have you dug into the opera or the pasticcio at all?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Irene.
Okay, so Irene, Irene in Italian. What just happened to or Irene that makes it necessary for her to sing this song? She's just found out something major, which is what?
Her proposed husband has basically dumped her for another woman.
Great. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm gonna go change it right now. I'm gonna go yell at him right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna change into a maid and I'm gonna go see him right now.
All right. What I would love to do is build on that, to use that fire and use that passion, because as I said, you have a beautiful instrument, wonderful gift. Congratulations on very clearly knowing what you're saying. Like you know the translation. And what I would say is let's encourage you to dig a little bit more into what does it mean, so that we don't have to mess around with the track or anything. Can you stand? Can you imagine what's happening? And what we'll do, everybody here, we'll try to make this cumulative, especially since this was so long. The couple of things we talk about here will apply to the other ones, so on and so forth. So I want you to, in your mind's eye, see him. Do you see him? I want you to feel that betrayal. I want you to breathe the quality and the atmosphere of what that betrayal feels like. And I want you to say, sposa son disprezzata. 3, 1, go ahead.
Sposa son disprezzata.
Great. Now think about something slightly different that he said to you, right? And that you learned. And I want you to think about that. And I want you to connect to it and make it personal and breathe for fida, right? So start that phrase. 3, 2, 1.
Fida, sono tragiata.
Okay. Did you feel a slight difference in those 2 breaths? So in watching you perform, it's a very long aria. So there's a lot of breaths to watch. Each time you breathe, what we want the ability to develop is if you take a breath, and if I literally or if I figuratively press pause on your performance, I want to know, do you love it or do you hate it? Are you about to embrace it? Are you about to attack it? Because you always have to think about your external and internal posture for singing, the mechanism of breathing, the mechanism of making sound. What I want you to focus on a little more that will really take this to the next level is your storytelling, but specifically not in doing any less posture internally or externally, not in doing any less mechanics and technical attention to the breath, but I want you to also do who or what are you seeing? Where are you seeing them? What is your relationship to them? And breathe in that atmosphere and quality so that you have that as a trigger, as a firing point, so that if we pause, we know, she loves it. She hates it. She's going to embrace it. She's going to attack it. You can carry that to your melismas, right? All of those that were done very well vocally. We always want the journey. We want the storytelling, right? We want your gestures to be meaningful. Sometimes you're getting caught in singer position here. If you ever get caught, think of beginning, middle, end. Where do your gestures end? Where do they begin? Where do they come from? If you're reaching, are you reaching to stop? Are you reaching to wipe a tear from the face of your child? Are you reaching to brush the hair out of the face of your beloved? All of that, right? Any double consonant, thank you for having them, fill them with meaning, right? The high notes, when you go up on the high note on La Mia Speranza, so many melismas, but have a reason to ascend. And also think about the journey. What takes you from A section to B section? What takes you back from B section to A? And how is your relationship to that material in the A section different because of your experience in the B? I know that was super fast. I know we're at time. Like I said, I would be super happy to work on this more. We can work on this for like 3 hours. There's so much, but great start. Do those things make sense? Hang on to any questions that you have. Hopefully we'll have a couple of moments at the end to chat about that a little bit. But congratulations to you and your teachers and coaches. Very well prepared and absolutely beautiful instrument. So hope to hear more of you.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent job, Leah. Well, now we can move on to either Alexandra or Cooper, whichever one of you would like to go first.
May I start first?
Go ahead.
Sure.
All right. I will spotlight. There we go.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Beecher, and I will be singing Come Ready and See Me. Come ready and see me, no matter how late. Come before the years run out. I'm waiting with a candle. No wind will blow out, but you must taste on fort or by sky, for no one can wait forever under the bluest sky. I can't wait forever, for the years are running out. I'm waiting with a candle. No wind will blow out, but you must taste on foot or by sky, for no one can wait forever under the bluest sky. I can't wait forever, for the years are running out. I
Very nice job. So
Thank you.
congratulations. Yeah, beautiful. Very nice work. As we did earlier, can you highlight that you happened, that you were successful in having happen?
Sorry, I just need to unmute myself. I would say that I conveyed the expression of this piece pretty well.
Great. So you were could you bridge down just I think that's looping us around. Thank you. Is it still going? I'm not sure.
Leah, if you could just mute yourself while I guess Scott speaks, and I think that'll help the echo. And then unmute yourself when you speak.
Thanks, Andrew. And if it's echoing, is it echoing on your end? I can feel it. If not. All right, we'll just. Okay. So you were connected to it. You felt you were engaged. Let's see if we can dig into that a little bit more. And congratulations for being connected. No small feat. All right. Are you sitting as you're saying? Okay. Can you get to a place where you can stand, even if that means you back up a little more? Because the first thing that down here was that I always break your body down to 3 general areas. And we say sort of shoulders and up, torso, hips and down. We want to make sure that all 3 layers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So be in the very slight bit of a plie. Just tiny high. Does that make sense? So just bend. Okay. Now anytime that you feel the line bending, can you plie just a little? All right. Are you able to start your track?
Am I? Do I have my track?
Oh yeah. Could you just
Yes.
be able to? We'll do a little bit of the start. So when I say pause, just pause there, and then when we we'll pick up or try and keep it as easy as possible.
Sounds good. Come ready and see me, no matter how late. Come before the years run out. I'm waiting with a candle. No wind will blow.
Thank you, not. All right. So how did it feel to
I think it made it easier to project and to project and just have a better sound.
Great. Good. Anytime or auditioning, you want to do a frame. I had it set up, but I can't quite do it on my phone here because where I'm sitting. But you want to frame your body in 3/4. So just take another step back if you can. Careful, it looks like there's a desk. Okay, and maybe 6 more inches up stage, just away from the camera, just a little bit. Okay, what I would say is that's a really nice position because what we can do is we see your fingertips. So for everybody watching, whether you're doing a self-tape or a pre-screen or you're auditioning live via Zoom. And now, Alexandra, if we were being picky, I could say you could tilt the camera down just a little bit. You don't have to do that right now. But this way you get a nice 3/4 shot. Old time Hollywood used to call this the cowboy shot. Because if they were like the showdown at the OK Corral, they wanted to see the guns and the drawing of the guns. So if you imagine yourself a cowboy or a cowgirl in an old Western, if you look in your camera, if you're doing a self-tape or a pre-screen or a Zoom audition, if you can't see your fingertips, adjust it so that you can. And when you're there, that's the position from which you want to adjust your microphone input, right? So you You do like CS has been instructing in the comments there, and making sure that you enable the high fidelity sound, and making sure you take off your noise suppression and all those things. And when you have that, first set the level you need for your loudest singing. Then put the accompaniment on your external speaker, whatever device you're using, put it in a place where you can hear it. That's the most important thing. It doesn't really matter if we hear it. And then you can slowly start to move it towards wherever the microphone is. And if you can find that ideal balance where you say, okay, any farther away from me and I won't be able to hear it. If I turn it up, it'll overblow the sound that I'm putting out, but it puts it in that nice balance. Does that make sense? Now, if you can, you always want a light source from the front of you. You're doing a good job. You chose a good orientation in that room. If you put those shutters behind you, even though they were closed, you'd get a lot of backlight. You know, if I'm here, there, if I'm like that, I'm backlit, and now what's behind me is a little more lightly lit. So if I'm here, it's just a lot brighter. So all of those things are things that you want to do as you're framing yourself. So if this were an audition, I would say find a lamp or something that you could put downstage and left of you to kind of balance that out. So those are a couple of small things. Now that you're standing, can you think of when you take a breath, every time you start that phrase, you have your expansion here happening, right? You have that internal posture happening and the external posture. Do all of those things. And can you plie just a little bit, right? Have you ever wanted something and you're like, oh, please, like there's like a little bit of a plie into it, right? Like you really want it to happen. Okay, now what are your first words in this song? Oh, I'm sorry, you can unmute.
Come ready and see me.
Good. What? What's next?
Come ready and see me. And then no matter how late.
No matter how. Is that
come before the years run out.
Okay. So it said, I'm ready and see, but not after 5. It would have a different than it would if you say ready and see. No matter how late. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So can you communicate through that text thing? I want you to come no matter how late. Right now it's the words are there. You know what they say. But I want you to think a bit more about what they mean. And make sound like. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So speak that and how late. Like you are the most spiritual, prized, winning actress. Take that breath, deliver that line.
Come ready and see me no matter how late. Like that?
How did that feel?
That felt good.
Good. Now can you put a little bit more like not only no matter how late, up to 10 p.m. Now I want late even 4 in the morning. After you. All right.
Come ready and see me no matter how late.
Now can you keep eye open? Have you ever heard the phrase the window eyes go gold? So if you do, come ready. Be no matter how late. We lose that instead of being able to see that person and see the phrase of intent. You try that?
Yes. Come ready and see me no matter how late.
How did that feel?
That felt good. I forgot at the beginning and kept my eyes closed.
That's
because
okay.
I'm also like a rock singer, so sometimes I do that.
Yeah. I want you to attack it. Something you do with rock singer, right? Nobody ever like and like lift up or like forward, right? So keep that and allow your open to communicate. Because what we want, if I plug my ear and just look, I want to see. If I close and just listen, I want to hear the. So you always want both of those. So when I see you, it's written, powerful pop communication capable of. Now that your eyes are, I want you to establish where the can you get the middle? Put them here.
Let me just set this device down.
Oh, good. So in character, I call it your the persons, places that you see character. You choose who or what. You choose when you look at thing in coordinate in the text, and you establish with them. And like we were saying earlier with Leah, the idea is that the established relationship with those persons, places, and things impact the way you breathe. It colors the way you breathe, so that that technically tuned breath becomes artistically tuned as well, and it fuels what you're about to say, so that you don't just say the words, you breathe in what they feel like, you breathe that atmosphere, that quality, that emotional color, and then the actions you send out have that weight, have that atmosphere. Does that make sense? So establish this person, come see this person that you want in your mind. Do you have an image of them? Okay, I think you're on mute. So unmute, establish that person, keep your eyes focused on them. Breathe quality and deliver that.
Come ready and see me, no matter how late. Come before the years run out.
Nice. How did that feel?
That probably felt the most emotionally charged that I've ever sung it.
That's good. That's the direction in which you want. You make it personal. You make it emotionally charged, and you tell the thing meaningful and you can using voice technique, using the pop, external, using the word, and match. Where do you focus? Who or what do you? How do you feel? And you breathe. Then the phrase, and it lands. Sometimes you there. Sometimes you change with the music. Send it again. So we are at our. Thank you so much. Nice work on the fly.
All right, excellent job, Alexandra. So now we're on to our last singer, who is Cooper, and I think he's ready. So
Hey,
here we go.
Cooper.
Okay. Hello, my name is Cooper Perez. I will sing Del Cabello Masuti by Fernando Overdors. Del cabello masuti que tienes en tu trenzado e de una cadena para traerte a mi lado. Carras en tu casa, chiquilla quisiera ser. para saber.
Very nice. Very nice job. So again, beautiful voice. Great start on the piece. Seems like you have a connection going. Like with the others, start with something positive, something you wanted to do that you were successful in doing.
As I've worked through this song, my coaches and my voice coaches have talked about a human sound, especially because I don't speak Spanish fluently. So that a human sound, and I felt like through the majority of the song, that was there and present.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So let's unpack that a little bit. What's the human sound to you? Like, what does that mean? There's no right answer. I want to understand a little more how you process that, so I know how to frame the work we'll do.
A human sound to me is just a, e, o, u in its purest form. There's no accent. There's no, and anybody can understand it. Um, and it's something that when you listen to, especially at the very end, I think a great example of that would be the ah at the end, because that doesn't have any translation. That is just ah. There's no meaning behind that, and I think that really defines what a human sound should be.
Okay, nice. And to pick up on that, the last thing you said with ah, how have you interpreted that? What have you interpreted the ah to mean?
So this song is a love song, and so I think that ah is just like when you get a text from that girl you like or that guy you like, and you're just like, ah, she loves me, ah, he loves me. I think that's what that is in just a classical, over the top musical style.
Okay, so it's a reaction. Something happens that's pleasing to you, right? And this song, like very short and sweet. Verse 1, verse 2. For everybody who doesn't speak Spanish or doesn't know the song, give us the quick encapsulation. You say, if I were this, then I would that. And then again, if I were this other thing, then I would this other thing. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Ivy Page.
Uh,
How would you, yeah, give us like the elevator speech version, or like you're tweeting about it. So give us the whole content in one tweet.
Okay, so the first verse is he's singing about the woman's hair, and the
Mhm.
second he's singing about how he wants to kiss her.
Great. All right. So when you have del cabello más sutil, what does that mean? Or what does that, let's say,
oh,
what does it say?
that is, oh, her beautiful hair, that segment.
Right. So from cabello, hair, your más sutil, like most delicate, right? So always really important, as for everybody here on the Zoom session, always make sure you know exactly what the words say in the precise order that they happen, because what can happen if you have a general idea, you might be singing the word, for instance, what does sutil mean?
Decadent.
They like delicate, fine, like almost like the Italian sottile, like sutil. So think about the person that you are in love with, that you long to be with, right? And not in like a creepy stalker kind of way, but if you were to say, oh, like, oh, the smell of their hair, like the shampoo or the perfume or whatever fragrance they wear, like breathe that in. And as you breathe that in, del cabello más sutil, like have the definition of the words there in your mind really accessible, so that as you do the work of the artist and you think, okay, I know the definition, I know what it says, now let me dig in as an artist and figure out what does it mean to me. Because once you have the what does it mean, it'll bring more of that humanity, that human sound to it, right? Because if we change the meaning of the words and we said, from your hair more long, from your hair more curly. It's not either of those, but you could see how you would have different images in your mind. It would already start to take on different meaning. So in this case, it's from like the most delicate, precious, cherished hair possible. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
What color?
Dark brown.
Oh, yeah. Always decide. I'm, not a test, but in your mind's eye, if this were real and you were talking about this person, you would know their name, hair color, eye color, what do they smell like? Where do they sit in class? Where do they live? You've probably, walked by their house, and can you catch a glimpse of them? And you try to happen by places where they are. So we tend to learn a lot about these people, right? Again, not in like a creepy way, but in a romantic love story, Romeo and Juliet type of way. So let's start at the top. Picture the person, set them somewhere towards the center of your field of vision, your visionscape. See it, smell it, the texture del cabello más sutil, and really fill that with all that meaning. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. You have smelled the shampoo in Ukraine. That's awesome. All right, give it a try, Cooper.
Del cabello más sutil que tienes en tu trenzado, de una cadena para traerte a mi lado.
Good job. Good. I was right there. How did that feel to you? Was there any different things happening in your mind, in your mind's eye?
It didn't. I don't think relaxed is a good word to use when you're singing. But it felt smooth. I think that's a better word. It
Okay,
felt smooth. I think that it connected things more.
good. Okay. Would you say that when I say you always want to make it personal. You always want that personal point of view. Do you feel like you had a little bit more of a personal connection?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now, I want you to sing into your voice. I teach acting and interpretation and movement and physical characterization, and I direct the productions. We have a fabulous voice faculty who teaches voice. So I don't get into that in my teaching. So I won't tell you how to do it, but what I want to ask you to do is when you say, he de hacer una cadena, right? I want to make a chain in order to pull you to my side, baby. Like channel your inner Antonio Banderas, right? And use, he doesn't have that low of a voice, but you have that rich, nice sound. So as the line descends, caress the line. Use your voice to make that chain of braided, fine, good smelling hair to pull your beloved closer to you. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And you're all being super brave, and I know how weird it is to do. It's even weirder on Zoom, but take a risk. Make everybody melt on the other side and just wish to be this person with the hair that you're singing about.
Yes, sir.
Del cabello más sutil que tienes en tu trenzado, de una cadena para traerte a mi lado.
Cool. Nice. How does that feel?
It felt more like a crescendo. It felt more phrased, more developed.
Good. And there, to me, there's always at least two sides to this. You know, there's the musician, there's the scholastic, there's the actor, there's the dancer, all these things. So thinking about how you're going to phrase it, thinking about your crescendi and decrescendi and diminuendi and animandi, all the technical things and all the diacritical markings, and thinking, okay, those are there. Now that those are there, what do they mean? And okay, if I want to accomplish this, so I can get louder. If I want to accomplish that, I can get softer. Why is it high? Why is it low? All of that. So there's all these sides to think on, and they inform each other. You know, it's never like, well, I've decided on my phrasing, and now I will decide on my interpretation. It's fluid, right? Now, I want to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it out loud if you don't want to, but once you got them, so essentially you say, I see your hair, your fine hair in a braid. I wish I could make a chain from your hair and pull you close to my side. What do you want to do when they are close to your side?
Okay.
Have that? Now here we start to get into the work of the artist. Yes, all the things that we've been talking about. Yes, everything. But when you see that person, remember how I said when you breathe, we want to know, do we love it? Do we hate it? Embrace, attack. Yes, embrace. But then what comes next? You know, it's that fire, that passion, that intention that'll inform that. Can you try that whole verse again with in mind that ultimate goal that yes, fine hair, yes, braid, yes, making a chain, yes, pulling you next to me so that we can play cards. I don't think it's that, right? But you could see how you could take it in any direction you want. Decide what you want to do when they're next to you and tell that story in a very personal way.
Yes, sir.
Del cabello más sutil que tienes en tu trenzado de una cadena para traerte a mi lado.
How did that feel?
It felt like I had more of a clear objective. If I were acting this and this was a scene, it felt like I knew what my objective was and I knew what my tactics were to get to that objective.
That's what it's about, right? And yeah, it definitely, I agree, Leah. It felt so warm. And what was interesting earlier, I had said, if you close your eyes, you want to hear the truth. If you plug your ears, you want to see the truth. On my end, there was a good moment for para traerte a mi lado. That was, I couldn't see you, you froze, but I could hear it. And there was so much more to hear. And then when you did come back on right at the end of that phrase, it looked to me that the storytelling continued in the interlude. And you were thinking, when it goes up there, right? You were thinking about what you were going to do once they were by your side. And then that would have led you to the next thing, right? Does that make sense? Yes, I agree. Thank you, Joshua. Awesome job. Does that make sense, Cooper?
Yes, sir.
I can't tell if you're there. You froze for a sec.
Oh, I said yes, sir.
Great. So if you all can, oh, awesome. Oh, thank you. If you all can tie all of these things together with this idea that your job as a storyteller, your job as storytellers is to look at the music, to look at the text and understand, okay, I know what it says. I know the definition, the rhythm, the tempo, the melody, the text. This is what it says. Now that I know what it says, what does it mean? What do you do with that? What does it mean to you in a way that's personal? Because if it's personal, it'll be more passionate, more connected, and you'll have that direction in your storytelling. Then we work on different things that strengthen your ability to tell the story. You pull in your vocal technique. We think about the phrasing. We think about a crescendo. We think about when are we looking. We time it, so that if you think, well, I'm looking here and I have 4 beats to go from focus point A to focus point B, and it's always 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we craft the journey from focus point A to focus point B based on the music, based on what we just said, based on what we're about to say. All of that stuff comes together to really tell those stories. Does that make sense to y'all? The 3 of y'all who sang? And I can't tell on my phone here who's still here. Classical singer, I don't know how, if we have time for questions, I'm happy to answer questions.
Yes,
or if we need to.
yes. Oh, well, it was such a wonderful class. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So we do have a couple of minutes for questions. So if you could just begin, Scott, by just telling us a little more about what you do at Baldwin Wallace while everyone's sending in questions in the chat. And then as they come in, I'll read them out to you, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the director of opera studies. And so what I do is I oversee our 8th semester curriculum in training singing actors. It's a very unique curriculum. I don't know of anywhere else that has it, in terms of each semester, you're in a class that builds and builds and builds in skills in terms of physical characterization, vocal characterization, interpretation, audition technique, professional development. We've always done a little bit of camera work and voiceover work. We're leaning into that a little bit more right now. We have a project in collaboration with Cleveland Opera Theater and On-Site Opera in New York City. Composers such as Jake Hagee, Libby Larson, Kamala Sankaram, Josh Schmidt, librettists like Royce Vabrick and Gene Shear, David Cody. All these people are writing for the Met in San Francisco and Washington National. They're writing micro operas. They've written micro operas specifically for our students. So we're leaning into that. It's this whole layered process that I'm sure you're all too familiar with COVID, and we're filming in a green screen studio and all of that. But in a normal year, we have 3 main stage productions. I direct 2. I hire someone to direct the 3rd. We have amazing folks from all over the world come in. People from Covent Garden, people running companies, people directing major grad school programs, so that you get a different style. I teach all of the 400 level and 300 level of workshops, so your junior and senior year, and I teach about half of the sophomore and fresh person year. Teaches the other half of the freshman year. He does. He's a voice actor, a dancer. We do a lot of like capoeira and Afro-Caribbean dance as well in there, comedia and mask work. Second year, Dr. Ellen Rooney does a deep dive into more acting technique. We look at a lot of Eastern approaches, Sanskrit, Kabuki, No, as well as, more traditional things, Stanislavski, Chekhov, the viewpoints, Grotowski. So it's a very full and rich curriculum that also relates to our diction and literature sequence. So I oversee all of those things and, manage all the master classes and guest artists. So
Wow.
that's a little bit about me. So our questions.
That's excellent.
Sorry, I'm on my phone.
Yeah, no, such a comprehensive program. And you actually kind of answered one of the questions when you spoke about the instruction, and I think Stanislavski and the other acting techniques, when Alexandra is asking how much dance and acting do vocal majors do specifically?
Yeah, there's a lot in the curriculum, and we're a conservatory within a small liberal arts university. So there's a school of theater and dance. All of those classes are open, in which you can enroll. In addition to our voice performance program, there is a music theater program that has its own set of workshops, different aim. We're focused on where you're going to go for grad school and get your scholarship and assistantship of choice. Music theater program is more, okay, get ready for your showcase and go get your national tour. Or Broadway gig type of thing. But there is a lot going on. All programs can audition for everybody's productions. It's usually fairly centric to, the majors are in the productions, but I've had music theater and theater majors in operas and that type of thing. If that answered that.
If you don't mind, Scott, could you put your email in the chat that anyone could reach you at?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
We have time.
See if I can put it on my phone here.
Or if not, I can type it there. What's the email for you?
Yeah, if you could, I'll give you my Baldwin Wallace one. It is S as in my first initial, and then another S. K is in kite. I is in Irene or Irene. B is in boy. A. So S Skiba
At
BW.
edu. Okay. All right. Well, I just put that in chat for everyone. One last question, because I know everyone is wondering, how important are hand gestures in video auditions, and could you also incorporate eyes into that discussion?
Yes. I would start with eyes. A little bit of the work that I had mentioned, the word visionscape. So my advice, and again, email me. I'm happy to work on this more with you all, but this is something that we build on throughout the years. But essentially, if you ever put the grid on your phone when you're taking a picture, it'll give you 3 columns and 3 rows, 9 rectangles, right? And so what I do is I say, you must establish one other. The other can be your beloved, the brook, the bird, yourself, somebody you're talking to, right? Then once you have your other, establish at least 2 things. I'm looking at this thing and I'm relating it to the other. And then I look back to here, then I say, but I don't know if I want that. How can you help me? I want this and I want that. So you can start to see how you could build out and say, once you have your other, you establish the other persons, places, and things, and you put them around the other. If they're high, sky, sun, moon, things like that, stars, clouds, they go up here, they go up higher in your field of vision. If you're singing about things like flowers or things on the ground or brooklets, they're a little lower in your field. Sometimes they're close and actually with you. Sometimes they're far away. Sometimes they're a memory. Sometimes there's something you wish were true. It's not true 100% of the time, but when we're remembering as people, we tend to look up and slightly to our left. When we're creating or being devious, we tend to look up and a little bit to our right. It's not true 100% of the time, but it's just one of those body language things. So that's the beginning. And you say, all right, given the persons, places, and things that I need to connect to in this song or aria, because it says so in the text, like if I take Cooper's, for example, hair and all the stuff I want to make with the hair, that person close to me, and the person themselves. And the next verse we didn't get to, the pitcher of water and the hot, humid summer day and the droplets of water dripping. And I want to be that pitcher so that when they bring the pitcher to their lips, we kiss. And then the person. So the hair and the stuff, the pitcher and the kiss, the person. And you decide, when do you look there? And when you look there, who or what do you see? How do you feel about it? And then based on how you feel about it, that impacts how you breathe. So to connect full circle to gestures, and I mentioned this, I think, with Cooper, if you're going this focal point to 1, 2, 3, 4, that focal point, and it takes 4 beats, plus or minus an accompanist or maestro who's going to go a little faster or a little slower, the 4 beats are relatively the 4 beats in rhythm. The rhythm always holds it together. It's always the glue. So if we're on Zoom, I'm not framed in my 3/4, but we're so close. It's like being in a small recital hall. This 1, 2, 3, 4 is probably enough. Now you're auditioning in person and maybe it's a couple of 100 seats. The same timing will apply, but I might go 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I'm seated because I'm on my phone. My computer wouldn't connect. You could see I had a little more movement. And now if we got a little farther away and I'm on the stage at the Met and there's 4,000 seats, the same beats might be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see I'm adding a little bit more. It doesn't start from out here, because if it doesn't come from here and the journey of what do I see? How do I feel? How does something trigger to make me look and find something else? How do I feel about them? What's my relationship? How do I breathe that in? If you don't time your storytelling in rhythm, in tempo, and in character, then it doesn't matter what you do. It's like saying, I'm really happy. I'm really happy, opera claw, right? It doesn't help. So what you all need to learn to do is to think in character, in tempo, in tune, in time, and work on scaling your gestures to how far they need to reach. When it's Zoom, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that in a 1,000-seat house. It's probably not big enough, and you probably need a footwork change and a slight torso change in body. Work in a 4,000-seat house, you need that, but bigger steps and probably a larger gesture. But the thought process always remains. I don't know if that answered. If it didn't and you want to talk about it more, or if it did sort of and you want to talk about it more, email me. I am more than happy to meet and chat. Like I said, we're in the middle of green screen filming, so it might take me a second or two to get back to you, but after the next week, it opens up a little bit. So I hope that answered everybody's questions. Thank you for the three of y'all that signed on. Sorry, I was here trying desperately to sign on, so I'm sorry to keep you all waiting. Thanks for Alex and Dane for getting me on eventually, and sorry I had to be on my phone, but and thank you for running it here. And I couldn't see or hear your name when you introduced yourself, so I kept saying classical singer. What is your name?
I'm Justin Bell. Justin Bell.
Thanks, Justin. You've been great. Thanks for all the, keep me on time and for your work here. And thank you again to all of you. Hope to see you again virtually, and then hope to see you again in person. Did we get everybody's questions?
Yes. Well, there was one question that was really quick. One person was asking, do you teach 16 years old, or what is the minimum age for boys? They are 14 now, bass baritone already.
I used to teach at the Interlochen Center for the Arts. So I've had students 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So, we at the conservatory, if you're looking to audition to study in college, I mean, you have to complete whatever your secondary school is, depending on which country you're coming from. That could be a different school. But we do have a community arts school that teaches lessons to younger than collegiate age. So if you're interested in working that way, again, just contact me through the BW email address, and I'll get you connected to all the right people. But to me, it's never too early to start. Even if your voice isn't quite there, you can always be thinking about the acting and communication and developing all that. So it's always something to work on.
All right. Well, thank you again so much, Scott, for your time, and everyone. His emails in the chat, so you can reach out to him. As he said, at Baldwin Wallace, they are uniquely an undergraduate only program, and so many exciting things there. So I encourage you all to reach out to him and ask him any more questions. Enjoy the rest of the expo. Congratulations to our singers, and have a great evening, everybody.
Yeah, Lee Alexander Cooper, Justin, thank you all. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
very welcome. Thank you. Please be in touch.